Okay, let's talk about Russia's biggest supporters. On that, though, from Russia's point of view, I thought it was very interesting that Putin firmed up these ties, but before the war in December, in January, he really firmed up these strategic ties with these countries, and for Russia, these countries, their location is an asset to to Putin.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, military Venezuela, Cuba are closer to the United States than Ukraine or most countries that Putin is openly menacing are. But I think more than that is an economic thing. You see, especially with Venezuela, that the second the war started, the Biden administration approached Venezuela's government to try and maybe get to a deal in terms of oil and gas, because that could give the United States like energetic security. And I think that Putin knowing, because he probably knew he was going to make Ukraine way longer than us, he probably tried to get close to his allies to make sure that the United States wouldn't try to get close to them. As much as the United States has condemned dictatorships and in South America recently, right now when it's a war open, you try to find your allies when you can, and he was, I think, securing his, or
That's
trying
a
to.
really good point.
It's interesting to see how that evolves, especially because Venezuela, and especially because the Maduro regime. We have talked about this a lot in the Global Economic Report. It's been trying to get a sanction relief without giving any democratic insurance, and this could be a chance for them. I hope it's not, but it could be.
That's a really, really good point. From a geopolitical aspect, Russia and Venezuela produce the same type of crude oil. So as Europe and the United States started considering getting off of the Russian oil, and the United States it's less than 10%, but for Europe it's very critical. Where you're in Europe, so you think Putin, that was part of it, strategic planning, firm up this friendship and make sure they don't just switch their sources of oil to Venezuela. So last thing I wanted to touch on, which I thought was a really interesting point in your article, you spent some time looking at Mexico. And I like one of the phrases you used in the article. It was like, as the world's eyes are shifting to Ukraine, to Russia, some people are taking advantage of being out of the spotlight.
AMLO, Andrés López Obrador, Mexico's president, has used this opportunity to crack down on journalists, especially in his speeches. Taking from the same populist book that every populist goes to, he has been criticizing the press since his government started and even his campaign, but now he's talking openly about the press being the enemy of the people. He has named and even gave the home addresses for some journalists in his speeches that have criticized him or some of his allies in his country. So it seems like he's trying to crack down on something that he feels uncomfortable with now that the war is looking and worried about the war in Europe. It's in many ways he's not the only one, but he's been really openly and really evidently doing. I will also like to name name Brazil, which is a really interesting case because Jair Bolsonaro, Brazil's president, is most of the time a far-right leader, but he has been voting with Russia in the UN and defending them in the UN. And it's really, really an interesting case of a strongman supporting another, maybe because they are both strongmen, maybe because they both care about, because Brazil needs Russia's gas and other products, but it's still like a really, really interesting case. So those two are always really big players in South American politics have taken kind of the position of supporting Putin. In Bolsonaro less, in case less so, but mostly for to do the things they want in their countries and to keep going with their agenda.
Well, okay. I'm interested in talking more with you about that, and perhaps working on other articles related to that, because I think you're really touching on a lot there. So I've got a sticker for you, a bumper sticker, or you can put it wherever you'd like for the Global Economic Report. And I'm going to wrap the interview up today. I know you're working on an article about the Peruvian protests, so we don't want to take up too much time here. But do you have any last words?
Thanks for everybody that has watched until here. You can find me on Twitter at Ernesto Alexan, at Global Economic Reports. On Twitter, you can find a lot of other places where I write. And if you go to my Twitter, you can see my coffee account. So if you can invite me a coffee, it will be appreciated. Thanks for watching.